Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello, hi.
Like we said, we are at the end of Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2, and it's time to review Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm. Interesting that this decided to make this the end of Phase 2 instead of Avengers, but and I feel like Ant-Man was supposed to be made a long time ago, but kept getting delayed for various reasons.
I'm glad that they finally made it, and that it turned out as good as it did.
Yes.
Because Ant-Man is very,
Good
very good. In some ways, I would put it up there with the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah. It does something feel like a cousin of that movie, or maybe less generously a retread of Iron Man. It's sort of like Iron Man meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a way. So I guess first we gotta address the elephants in the room and talk about, originally this movie was pitched to Marvel Studios by Edgar Wright, and he was going to write and direct it. They had his script and he was going to do it. And then for various reasons he went off and did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and then, what was the other one? At World's End?
Yeah.
Or The World's End?
Yeah. Then when he was finally ready to make it, he and Marvel kind of, the always prevalent creative differences, and he was separated from the project. Peyton Reed took over directing.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of a drag, but you can still see some of the signs of Edgar Wright's trademarks in his films. Somewhat. It was thankfully not reduced to a very generic fill-in-the-blanks type story that just had a few Marvel references in there. It is very, very fun. It has a lot of style to it.
Yes.
It doesn't quite have the Edgar Wright style all the way through, but I'm glad that Peyton Reed managed to...
Yeah, only an Edgar Wright movie could have that style all the way through.
The thing about Peyton Reed is that years ago, he was going to do a Fantastic Four movie. He had, pitched this whole thing.
Forgot about that.
He had like a really great cast picked out, and I think it was going to be in the 60s.
Yeah.
Set. But that didn't work out. And instead we got the one that we got. And for me, that's kind of one of the all-time sort of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
There.
Too bad we can't make that part of the MCU, because right alongside the adventures of Hank Pym and the Wasp in the 70s. From what we've heard, it sounds like, okay, Marvel really, really liked the script. It's like, okay, and I can totally see, talking with Kevin Feige and the rest of the gang about this, like, okay, dude, I love the script, and I would love to see this movie. Here's the thing, though. This whole MCU is a machine. And the only way that we can make your Ant-Man movie is if it fits inside this machine.
Yes.
Okay? So we have to make some changes. If we don't make changes, we can't make the movie. And so after a while, they just couldn't meet halfway anymore. I still would love to have seen Edgar Wright's Ant-Man movie, but I guess that wouldn't be part of the MCU anymore.
Yeah. But the parts of this movie that are part of the MCU are a lot of fun. It feels like pure Marvel.
Yes.
To be honest. It feels like it's a perfect addition to Marvel as far as not only the references, but also the standalone elements. If you know about like the whole history of Ant-Man and Hank Pym and Scott Lang and the Wasp and all that stuff, this has pretty much everything that you would hope to see in a movie called Ant-Man.
Yeah, maybe not quite the way you expected to see them, especially with Hank being so much older.
Yeah.
That kind of
thing. But like, if you're going to do it all in one movie, they've got, the powers, they've got a suit that looks great, they've got stuff with the ants in there, they've got Scott Lang as... I like how Scott Lang wasn't simply the main character, it was very much about him and Hank and Hope, who was... I'm glad to see she was a much more significant character for somebody that they just made up for this movie.
Yeah. It's definitely a smaller movie. They're not trying to... in spite of Hank's frequent dire warnings about what will happen if this technology gets out, they're not really trying to save the world. This is essentially a Marvel version of a heist movie.
Yeah.
That's the whole spine of the plot right there. And so it's all about, the main locations are at Scott's apartment, at Hank's house, at Cassie's house,
and the lab.
And the lab.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. That's where the story happens. They're not, hopping all over the world like the Avengers were in Age of Ultron. It's just, it's a pretty small story, which is appropriate because it's Ant-Man.
Yeah.
As far as connecting it with the MCU, and this is probably where, here's where we gotta, fit it into the machine, like I said. It basically happens in 3 key scenes. One at the beginning, one in the middle, and a couple, stingers and post-credit bits at the end.
Yeah.
So the first scene is a delight because we get to see Michael Douglas's Hank in 1989, where he's been de-aged, and I gotta say they're getting a lot better at this.
Yeah, it didn't look
at making these actors look younger.
I know what kind of special effects or makeup they used, but it looked perfectly seamless. Not like Peggy Carter in Winter Soldier there.
Yeah, or like you go to other examples like Patrick Stewart in some of the other X-Men movies where they try to put him in the past. Or like Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Oh
Not
my
so
god.
much here. This looked fine.
Yeah, it looks fine. And also the weird thing is we get 3 actors who are playing 3 different relative ages. You have Michael Douglas, like we said, playing younger. You have Haley Atwell returning as Peggy Carter, playing older. This is 1989, so she's, I don't know how old she is at this point.
I don't want to do the math right now.
Yeah, this is like 50 years after the events of her spin-off show. And then we have the return of John Slattery as older Howard Stark.
Yeah.
He now gets to use his own actual silver hair, so he's playing his own actual age, presumably.
Rumors that like Michael Douglas kind of wants his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, to play Janet when she shows up. That's like that would be a shockingly perfect use of their 25-year age difference. Because she's gonna come out and she's gonna be the age she was when she went subatomic. Yeah. And he's going to be older. But it's like, do it.
But also if they just do the flashback to 1987 when we last saw her, that was over 25 years ago. So they just de-age him like we saw here, and then she's her current age.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'd love to see that. But I'd love to see a sequel.
So I'm like, yes, do it.
Yeah. I'd love to see a sequel that's like just the Wasp. Not like Ant-Man 2, the Wasp. Like, just the Wasp, just Hope going in, saving her mother, and they go off on an adventure. One of our friends said that she's not going to see Ant-Man because she has a phobia of ants. And it's like, you know what? That is the only excuse for not seeing this movie, I would say. Yeah. Like, I missed you.
That's legit. Right there.
I replied to her, I can tell you that there's a scene where an ant gets enlarged to the size of a dog. And she's like, thank you for coming. I will never see this movie. What the fuck? And then the second scene that connects to the MCU is, as with any heist movie, they're like, okay, we got to go off on this side heist to steal this thing that we need for the main mission. And so it's like, okay, there's this thing that I need that's at an old Stark facility. And then Scott Gets turns out, this old Stark facility is the Avengers' current headquarters. That was awesome.
Yes!
That was perfect.
And I just know that scene probably was not in any version of the script that Edgar Wright wrote. Yeah. But
seems like a kind of thing that Marvel wanted to add in.
Yeah, but glad it's in there because we get to see the Falcon again.
Yeah, it fits very nice in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't like interrupt the flow of the movie or anything.
This movie was announced way back in like 2006 or something. Mm-hmm. The first Iron Man came out in 2008. Presumably they wanted to make the Ant-Man movie as part of Phase 1. But of course it got getting pushed back. If Ant-Man had been part of Marvel Phase 1, it probably would have come between Iron Man 2 and Thor. That's where I think it would fit. But it wasn't. Yeah. So they just had to make do, and we got a pretty good team of Avengers in both films in any event. Yeah. I imagine that backup plan would be to feature it earlier in Phase 2 so that Hank and Scott could be in Avengers 2 instead. Yeah. But that didn't work out either. But they finally got it made. Yeah. And I do remember losing Edgar Wright was it felt like pretty bad publicity. Yeah. And revealed that, this machine that makes all these great movies isn't quite auteur friendly. Yeah, exactly. It's very producer driven. It's very controlled, and as fun as it all is, and as much as as great as it is to see all these superhero movies all functioning together, there's a system to it, and sometimes even the best ideas don't work in that system. It was nice to get a reminder of how much fun Marvel movies can be. Mm-hmm. Like Age of Ultron, it had plenty of humor in it, but like the trailers made it look very dour and very like the stakes were much higher than ever. And you think this was a DC movie? Yeah, exactly. But with Ant-Man, it was never really like that. We always got a sense that this was going to be more of a comedy than we were usually going to get. It's a movie called Ant-Man. It's about a superhero that shrinks. Yeah. And you have, in the trailer, you got Paul Rudd being, and I don't think this is even in the film, he's saying, okay, is it too late to change the name? Yeah. You can't do Ant-Man
as like a dark and serious thing.
Yeah, get out of here.
You gotta do it the way they did it here. A lot of people have made note that the Marvel movies have not given us an abundance of great villains.
Mm-hmm.
And while Darren Cross is not the strongest villain, I think Coruscant really plays the hell out of him. He plays great unhinged jerkwad in a fancy suit.
Like, as soon as he walks on screen, he's like, "Hi, I'm going to be the villain for this movie.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy my performance."
Yeah.
Who even wants to work with this guy when he's so obviously evil?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times he looks like Lex Luthor, with his
Mm-hmm.
with his lack of hair. Like, you just take this guy and have him be Lex Luthor and build a pretty functioning Superman movie around that.
On BuzzFeed, so we did like 150 whatever thoughts I had while watching Ant-Man. One of them was with Darren Cross when he shrinks that kind of jelly. And from then on he became evil jelly man.
That's like kick the dog moment.
Yeah.
You use your little shrink ray to turn a guy into a disgusting blob of goo just because he kind of wasn't sure about working with you.
I do think that compared to Iron Man 1, Darren Cross has a much better arc towards becoming a costumed killer,
I guess,
than Ironmonger did. With
I
that movie,
suppose it's almost like a lack of arc because, like we said, he's evil from the beginning. So, and then he introduces his here's my new suit, which I will use to save the world. And we know he's gonna suit up in this thing and start rampaging around.
Yeah.
So it's like why bother making him tragic or complex? He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Let's not complicate things.
In Iron Man 1, there's when Obadiah is cornered, he puts on the Ironmonger suit and goes on a rampage. That's the best reaction.
And that doesn't feel earned.
Yeah, but in this movie, after he's fought to protect his thing, and then seeing his entire lab get sucked into a singularity, that's gonna send a guy over the edge. A guy who's already kind of not the most stable person, as they say in the film.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, he's not trying to destroy an entire city again or anything. He's content to just get some revenge on the mastermind of this heist, which is Scott, and go after his house. And he's somehow magically, when he's caught him in the little jar, he's already worked out who he is and where his family lives. Yeah, just so we can have that scene. How was that final showdown, though, huh?
That was a lot of fun. That, was like a big set-piece advertisement trailer that we were going to have it on this little children's playset. Yeah. There's going to be this, epic throwdown with, lasers and explosions and stuff. Yeah. And that's the thing I find kind of weird. When he's, throwing the train cars at him and he shoots them with lasers and the train cars explode like they're filled with fuel or something. I guess, I know the lasers make stuff combustible or something. I guess. That seemed kind of excessive.
Yeah, but it is a long tradition of superhero movies, even going before the MCU, to have super fight scenes in or on or around trains. You can make a very long list of superhero movies that do this, and so it's almost like paying homage to all that stuff, but we're going to do it Ant-Man style. We're going to do it on a toy train set.
Also, we can't not mention Michael Pena, who totally steals the show.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how that guy can go to comedy and drama without any and make it look easy.
Yeah. And somebody used to make a list of here's all the supporting characters in Marvel movies that we just made up and make a top 10 list. Colson would probably be number one on that to the point that he's incorporated in the comics and gave him his own show and everything.
The scenes where Lewis is recapping how he got the tips for this job. Those seemed very Edgar Wright to me.
Yeah.
Seemed like something that would have been in his version of the script.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we have Anna Akana showing up.
Totally random cameo.
Yeah, as this reporter lady who, passes a tip from Falcon to our hero there.
Yeah.
But some people have speculated that maybe she's playing Betty Brant, which would be awesome. Although that would be kind of a liberty since Betty Brant is not a reporter but a secretary.
Right.
But anyway, it would still be a lot of fun to be playing an actual MCU character.
Yeah. I haven't heard that, and I was never thinking that. There's probably a lot of characters that she could be playing who are already reporters. The third thing that connects it to the MCU.
Yeah, we got to the post-credit stinger with Hank showing Hope the Wasp suit. And so definitely the next time we see Hope, she's going to be doing the Wasp thing.
Yeah.
Finally. So I got that going on.
It is so disappointing that they couldn't just have Wasp be just in this movie, like in the present day somehow.
Yeah.
Which is what I would have wanted to see, especially since Wasp, and this goes back to, why can we have this in Phase 1? Wasp is one of the founding members of the Avengers, along with Hank. She's the one who named the team in the comics and on the cartoon, and so forth.
Like we always figured that Scott was going to have to go subatomic to win the day. I was expecting, like in Big Hero 6, that when he went subatomic, he was going to come back with Janet.
Somehow.
Yeah. And there was like...
However subatomic works.
Like I'm going to do freeze frame stuff, looks like there's like some shadowy figure that might be Janet in there, but...
I didn't see it the second time.
That didn't happen. He just manages to come out by himself, which is miraculous enough as it is. So, and it also gives Hank hope that he can bring Janet back. As much of a drag it is that we had to wait this long for Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers is going to become Captain Marvel in that movie, and not having to wait a whole movie to take that mantle from the original male counterpart.
They've made 12 films in the MCU now, and we're still waiting on a lead female superhero. We're going to get one in Phase 3, but I feel like we should have gotten one by now. Yeah, Wasp is in it, but only in flashback, and she's already dead, which was really... What? What? It works in the story for this film, but it's still weird.
Yeah, it's still a weird way of things to turn out. So anyway, closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts, Ant-Man is a really good movie.
Yes,
it is a really good. It is a really good MCU movie. Great cast, great performances by Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly.
If I see it again, I want to see it in 3D. It's definitely like the most 3D of all the Avengers movies, quite possibly.
Yeah, like where do you think it ranks among the other MCU movies?
I think it ranks probably around the original Iron Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.